Sri Lanka is in the midst of planning and implementing serious reforms to our education system. One of the major aims of the education reform process that our government is undertaking is to diversify the career options available to our students in the education system. As has been mentioned by many people already, all those who spoke before me, as you know, in our education system, the career options that are available or the career options that are offered to students continue to remain very traditional. Right? We all aspire at one point in our life to be doctors. If we can't be doctors, if we feel, nauseous at the sight of blood or hate the smell of it, then we opt for engineering. If those two options are not available, then we might choose commerce. And if everything else fails, we fall into arts and humanities. And then if we fail, we enter the vocational stream. That's the kind of general pathway that is offered to our students, right? So whether you want to be a doctor or not, whether you have the inclination, the passion to enter the health field is not something we think about. Whether you have the passion or the interest in becoming an engineer is not something you would ever ask a child. You do well in maths, then you're automatically steered towards engineering. You do well in science, biology, you're automatically steered towards the sciences. The a student's inclination, the needs of the country, the development strategies, none of these factors are taken into account. As a result, we know that although we have managed to achieve a lot with our existing education system, for example, ensuring that every child has a shot at accessing fairly good quality education, and I think we need to acknowledge the role of our education system because we still produce the kinds of human resources need to sustain a country. We have a functioning public health system, we have a functioning public sector, we have extremely talented, versatile engineers. Our country is functioning, right? But I think at this point we are not just looking in terms of functioning, but we are aiming to take our country to the next level. And to take our country to the next level, that means that our economy needs to expand, our economy needs to grow, our economy needs to diversify, and our economy needs to be more stable, which means that it cannot be so, it needs to be more resilient so that it can cope with external shocks, it can adapt to the rapidly changing global context, and it can be flexible enough to change according to the complexities of the world that we are facing, or the world that we are living in. So then the kinds of skills that a young person requires today are quite different to what was imagined 20, 30 years ago. For instance, even though we are all sitting here talking about education and skills and the industry, I don't think many of us can predict with a lot of accuracy about the kind of human resources that will be required, not even in 5 years' time. Technology is changing so fast, things are changing so fast. The kinds of human resources that are required are also constantly adapting and changing. So therefore, we need our education system to be able to equip young people with the adaptability, flexibility, understanding about the many options that are available in the world today, be familiar and comfortable with technology, all of these things, while also retaining within themselves a sense of humanity, integrity, good ethics, and what it means to be a good citizen in a democratic, pluralistic society. All of this is part of what we are trying to deliver through education. So this is a big process, a big reform that we've undertaken. It's complicated because we are not starting from an empty space. We are trying to reorganize and reform an existing system. So that means we need to understand what exists and also figure out how to get it ready to accommodate the changes that we are proposing. So there's a lot of work to be done. However, I'm not going to talk about all of those complexities. I'm going to focus on the skills sector and the vocational part of the reform process, which is I think one of the most important parts of the reform process that we are introducing. Just to get a sense of where we are at, as you all know, about 300,000 children enter our school system annually. That means at grade 1, we have about 300,000 students entering our system. Am I